Oops.
We got Steve in
I
there.
know we do. And the video disappeared again. Can you believe it? I'm going to have to clip this. Okay.
Okay.
Let's do this. Welcome. We are so excited to see all of you on the Nurse Leader Listening Tour with Dina and Sharon. We're thrilled to have you with us today. A warm welcome to the Think Differently by Design Listening Tour. We're the author of the book, Think Differently, 18 Strategies to Fix Broken Thinking. And we invite you to engage with your peers and us as we address issues related to nurses, nursing, and the workforce. In our study of women in leadership positions, we have found that success happens when we ask the right questions and solve the right problems. Our respective healthcare careers and writing careers make us uniquely qualified for our role as facilitators. So we invite you to sit back, enjoy the 30-minute discussion that we have with today's special guest. Be sure to ask questions. We want to acknowledge you, find out who you are, where you're joining from today, and we want you to put that into the chat. Today, we welcome Florence Okatur, an exceptional nurse leader. I had the privilege of meeting Florence at a workshop sponsored by Medline Industries a few weeks ago, and I was immediately impressed with her style, her commitment, and her overall presence. She is a leader among leaders and currently the supervisor of nursing education at Baylor Scott and White All Saints Medical Center in Fort Worth. She is adjunct nursing faculty at Texas Christian University. She was previously with the NIH and the University of Maryland, and she's certified in nursing professional development and pediatric hematology oncology. I also found out that Florence is in the Pi chapter of Sigma Theta Tau with me. So welcome, Florence. We are so glad to welcome you today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sharon and
Yeah.
Dina. Appreciate the time.
You are welcome. What amazing history you have. So, thank you. We'd like to get some insights from you. One particularly insight I'd like to know about is how do you stay focused with everything that you've done? How do you do that?
I stay focused by finding a passion. Believe it or not, is a passion in a non-professional, like non-job related passion. And for me, my passion is running. And for me, when I run, I run long distance races, and
Mhm.
I find it a means of refocusing and recharging, and it just helps me clear my mind, and it just helps me put me in a space of refreshed state of mind, and it helps me focus when I come back to work. And I've been running for a long time, since the 2000s, and each race for me, it feels like it's new. It feels like I get excited, and I have a personal challenge to get better. Challenging myself to beat my time each time,
Wow.
with each race. And I've it was tedious to start with, but after I started it, I just got addicted to running. And every time I run, I come back to work. Run on Saturday and Sunday, come back to work on Monday, and I just feel recharged. It just gives me a sense of focus and a sense of really refreshed state of mind.
Wow.
I love that. How many races have you run? Do you know? I was just curious. Have you kept
Ooh,
track?
ah, well, long distance races, I've run about 6 or 7 in different states. I've done the Philly Rock and Roll, Half Marathon, DC, Maryland, Dallas, and I love all of them. But I'm kind of partial to my Marine Corps full marathon. That was the one that I beat all my odds.
Oh, I love that. So, what do you mean by that? How do you beat your odds? What does
Yeah,
that
how
mean?
you do that?
I challenge myself. I know there's always more in me that I can bring out, and the Marine Corps was a full 26 point, point two miles. of the
Mm-hmm.
race.
Wow.
And prior to that, I've done the 10Ks, the 5Ks, the half marathons, and I was like, you know what? I've done so many half marathons. If I can do half, why don't I push myself to full?
I
and
love
and I
that.
apply that in not just the race, but also in the job. If I've done this, I can push myself further. And I had never done a full marathon before, obviously, and I took a challenge. Now I trained with a team that we raised money for cancer research and treatment, but at the same time, we also got training over the course of a month to really get on it. And I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I crossed the finish line, got my medal. It was the best feeling ever.
I'll bet you crushed it. And I had a feeling that you were going to say that you apply this philosophy to every aspect of your life. That's
Mm-hmm.
part of your success
Yeah.
story, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I've
Absolutely.
got another question too, just kind of based on that, because, and I was a runner when I could run. So I love that. There was a time when when you feel like there's a wall, and if you could just push through that wall, the other side almost is like a nirvana. I don't know how to explain that to people, but it's just kind of what it is. Apply that to work life, in your nursing work life. Where do you find the wall to exist, and how do you push through it?
So the wall that wall, there's walls everywhere, and for me is really being determined and knowing I may not cross this wall, or at least this wall is right here, but what are my resources to cross that barrier? Who do I talk to? Finding that mentor, finding the person, being in the right place, and really finding that person that can help me cross that wall, or whether it's being an inspire someone who has crossed it before, or someone who will inspire me to cross that wall. And um and I've crossed the wall. When I started in nursing school, I only wanted to just get my bachelor's and work as a nurse. And then I finished my bachelor's program. My instructor, my professor, told me, she said, you will be good in the master's program. I said, oh, no,
Oh,
no, no, not right now. I just need to pass my board, start working. I am done. She said, no, you can do it. For
Yeah.
me, I'm thinking, master's program. Oh my gosh, I don't have no brain for that. I have no power for that. I can't do it. She said, yes, you can. So she motivated me, and she said, look at me. Here I am. I did it. If everyone did it, you can do it. And she helped me cross that wall. She found that strength in me, and she knew I was determined. And in whatever I choose to do, whatever I'm determined to do, I get it done, or at least I move forward. And she said, I will walk you through it. So for me, she was my mentor. She led me that path, and I finished
wow.
that master's program. And before I even graduated with that master's program, because of her encouragement, I enrolled in a second master's degree. So I enrolled in a dual master's program,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
completed both. So that wall is, um, even when I see that barrier and that wall, I look at people who can help me break it, or people who have broken it, and what have they done to really break
Mm-hmm.
that wall. And I, walk in that path.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
I think sometimes it's not seeing a box. You know, you think the box will hold you back, but if you visualize and there is no box, then you remove those barriers and you can break through.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Absolutely. There is.
Yeah,
So
and I've
good
It,
for
heard you
it
you.
say,
really
say,
is.
go ahead, what?
No, I just said good for you. I'm so excited. I'm thrilled for you.
I love
I
that.
think it's all determination. If
Yeah,
you put your mindset to it, you will get it done. It's determination to really get it done.
great.
Yeah, and I think there's something very valuable that in Florence, and something that is ingrained in you, probably something you've learned throughout your lifetime, right? Something you learned as a child, maybe, I don't know. But when you're talking to other people in healthcare and feeling that place of burnout, desolation, helplessness, hopelessness, what would you say to those people who are feeling that place of, burnout and really, really, like I said, a hopelessness, but they're doing what they love, which is nursing care? What would you say to those people?
You know, um, there's this saying that there's it's not how many times you fall, but how many times you get back up.
Mm.
And as many there's no success without some sort of pushback challenges. And for me, and what I would really say to people is, what's your peer, what is your team, what is your environment look like? Do you gain power, energy, resource, comfort from your peers, from people you work with, and you draw that positivity from them, and it really helps you push forward. There are challenges. This profession is hard.
Mhm.
This
Yeah,
profession is challenging.
it is.
And my background is oncology. Go figure. It's even more challenging. We're excited with life, but at the same time, you will be that person who is leading or guiding a family member towards the end of life for their loved one. And you've got to find the courage in yourself to do that. As humans, it's a life being lost, but what ways can we make it graceful? What way can we make it memorable for that person to really value and appreciate the life of that person as they've had it, and
Mm.
leading towards the end of life. But you do that as a nurse, because that's what you do as an oncology nurse or any nurse in any field, any
Hmm.
specialty. But then you are still a human. You need your own emotional support. You need your own morale to really be boosted, to really do that job in an effective way, for that family member,
Right.
and or for the patient. But it's a dynamics, the team dynamics. That is really a great way that you draw
Mhm.
positivity, you draw support and encouragement to move forward. And that is a great place that I always encourage people. Look at your team dynamics, pull it from there. And there are challenges. It's not an easy breezy, but pick it up and support each other, team members, and
Mhm.
boost each other up.
So, a quick question from Joseph in Lubbock. You're
Mhm.
positive for sure. Where does your energy come from? He wants to know what you eat for breakfast.
Great question, Joseph.
Where my energy, I'm naturally like a bubbly person, I guess you can say that. But you know I just find in everything, uh, in everything that I do, I just get an energy from, sometimes from, like, instance, to walking. Walking out, seeing a brighter side, seeing a cup half full versus half empty.
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
for me, and finding something joyous to really, you know, give me a smile, whether it's, pictures of loved ones, or sometimes, believe it or not, I get energy from looking back at my pictures from my previous races, like, oh, I did that. Is an encouragement. I haven't run in a while. I
Yeah.
need to go back to running. Or be it, pictures of videos from previous lived experiences. And that to me, it gives me joy. And also, I think is a mindset. It's
Hmm.
the mindset,
Yep.
looking at positive.
Mhm.
There may be so much negative environment, negative pressure, but finding something positive to really concentrate on, take out all the noise, all the noise, and find
Mm.
that needle in a haystack that'll bring you a smile. And
Love it.
it'll just give you a
Yep.
nice, give you a good smile.
I just love it.
Yes,
Wow.
I do too. And you have that word mindset. I was writing notes. I'm always writing notes. So there's a couple things that I captured for me that just kind of resonated. One is you have this mindset for life. It's almost humanizing every moment of the day, looking at something, finding joy, but you're also using that as a resource for fuel. You're
Hmm.
fueling yourself with those things. So the one thing that we're all really hard to do is that we talk about this a lot the last couple of years is that we get so busy with what we're trying to do. Nobody takes time to look around.
Hmm.
That's something that you said was very important.
Yeah.
With that, what would you say to your younger self now that you know what you know today?
Oh, good one.
ah I would say to myself, don't be afraid to really explore the career ladder.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when I started, this is my 20th year in nursing. When I started nursing, newly as a new grad, when got my first job, there was this notion, oh, you have to have had this X number of experiences to be a manager, supervisor, or director, or heck, a CNO, whatever the clinical ladder is or career ladder is, climbing that. But it's really not. If you have the
Mm-mm.
mindset, if you have the passion, if you have the qualities in you, you
Yep.
don't have to have 5, 10 years, 20 years of experience to be a
Mhm.
nurse manager. Are you able to do the job? Do you have support from you? You may not have done it before, but can you learn? Do you have the passion to really do that? And what I would say to my younger self is, I, I would have been like, don't be afraid to start the career ladder. You know,
Right.
Right.
have the vision, have the mindset,
Yep.
go for it. Don't wait till I've acquired 10 years of experience in oncology, critical care, and all these other places. So you come with a rich resume, so to speak. It really doesn't. It's really the passion and the zeal
Right.
to really get it done, and the support,
I
of
think it's
course.
an innate belief in oneself. If you believe in
Yes,
yourself, you can make it happen, right?
of course, absolutely.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And, Sharon, I wanted to kind of go back to something, when we wrote the book, Think Differently, it's all
Hmm.
about this stuff. How do you get these self defined limits? How do you press over that, right? It really is thinking differently. It's taking, that deeper question, that more critical question of, okay, is there really barriers there or are they self made?
Right. And often we make our own limiting beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yep.
of course. Yes, we
Yep.
do. But
Yep.
and what I typically say to a lot of people that I encounter is, if someone has done it, you can do it. And if no one has done it, challenge yourself to do it.
Yep. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
always took great pride. I don't know, during my life, and I know Sharon's kind of the same way because we're kind of
Hmm.
linked that way. Tell me no and watch me do it.
That's right. Or
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. Of
exactly.
Okay,
course,
well,
Exactly.
I
absolutely.
don't know if I believe that, So it's like,
Yes,
okay, well, let's just go do it. We'll see what happens after that,
Right.
versus, okay, well, what's the chances that that's going to work? Sometimes you just need to
Right.
just jump into the pool and just go, right? If you want
Just
to,
go.
do
right.
that.
And,
And I,
and you've heard me say, if there's no seat at the table, bring one. If there's no table, build one.
right,
Just
That's
make it
right.
happen. Yeah.
Absolutely.
right.
It's
If
all
there's
about
no chair, bring
determination.
one.
It's all your
Yeah.
determination and passion. It's really what
It is.
drives the action.
Oh, I think
It
so.
is.
Yeah.
We're really focusing too, Florence, on what is happening with healthcare today. We truly do feel that, it's broken ourselves, right? And so we want to bring the health back into healthcare. Can you give us some ideas of what do you think that needs? What is that piece to bring the health back to healthcare?
Great
Oof,
question.
that is a great one. I think in
This could be
healthcare,
a dissertation, Florence. This could be.
I know, right? Absolutely. I'm taking notes myself. In healthcare, there's this initial mindset is caring for the sick, right? Caring for the person who walked in the door, whether it's emergency room or the inpatient or the outpatient. But then we also forget about the healthy workforce. You have
Hmm.
to be healthy to help others heal. What are we doing to really help ourselves, to really put ourselves,
Hmm.
there's physical health, but a lot that really gets really not spoken a lot is mental health.
Hmm.
What is your emotional state of mind? What is the spiritual health? Because
Yeah.
all of that, I mean, we talk, we preach, we practice holistic health in the healthcare, bringing all that together for the patient who is in front of
Hmm.
you. But what about you as a healthcare provider? How do you put health in healthcare?
Right.
Is
Yep.
what are we doing to help ourselves to have a healthy workforce?
Right.
Could that mean pause a few minutes, take a walk outside, look out the window? If you can't really leave as for instance, the ICU unit, stop for a few minutes and go just look out the window, see, the skies, watch the traffic, and whatever it is to really refresh your mind and give you
Hmm.
a freshened mental state of well-being.
Right.
One of the things sometimes, I also would say, start, meditation. What
Hmm.
is it for your personal well-being, so that you're in a physical, mental, spiritual, fit state of mind to really care for that person who's really relying on you to really, nurse them to health, or in unfortunate circumstances, the end of life. I mean, we look at health
Right.
bringing life, but
Yeah,
also the end of life as well.
yeah, across that entire continuum of life.
Mhm.
So we know that we need to have a healthy workforce. Lisa from Cleveland wants to know what stands in the way.
Great
Sometimes we're the
question,
person who's
Lisa.
standing in our own way.
Yeah. What you saying, Florence?
Sometimes,
Can you repeat that?
yeah, sometimes it is us that's standing in our own way.
Mhm.
But of course sometimes it's also the processes within the environment we work with. But what is the culture of the environment? We look at
Good
that.
one.
What is your culture? Is it a culture that supports the well-being of the workforce? That's the first start. If you're in an organization that does not support that, there's no culture to really care for the workforce, then that may not be the place for you to be at. What are the resources available to you? What stands in the way? Do you have the support? Have you acknowledged that you yourself, you need to be healthy to care for the sick, or
Mhm.
the end of life person?
Mhm.
Have you acknowledged that you help yourself to put yourself in that state of mind before to deliver your ultimate best to that whatever service you're providing? But again, if you do, so that's the first box to check. Yes, I'm ready. I'm determined. I want to do it. What are the support? What's the supporter like around me? What is the
Hmm.
environment around me? What's the culture around me? Does my leadership team, whether it's from manager to CNO or to the CFO, who to the president, do they support that culture of mental, physical well-being? What are they doing to really promote that? Yes, you can. You say talk the talk and walk the walk. You can talk the talk, but are you walking the walk? Right? Yes, you've got this. I want you to be healthy. I want you to be well. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. But what are you doing to support that? Are you really
Mhm.
promoting go out, stop, whatever it is, stop X amount of time at this period or within a 10 or 12 hour, 8 hour, 12-hour shift, that, find 5 minutes to go look out the window. Are we having uninterrupted lunch? We have a lot of nurses who are walking into the break room and they have the phones are ringing. That's also, the lunch should be uninterrupted. Stuff like that.
Or
Are
they
we
don't
taking
even get a
bathroom
bio
breaks?
break.
They say nurses.
Yeah, that's what I
Right.
was
I
going to
just
say. They don't
mentioned
even
it.
get a
Right. They
bio
had a
break.
bathroom break.
They don't hydrate because they're afraid that they'll need a
Right.
bio
Right.
break and they don't have time.
Yep.
Exactly. Right. And you
Yeah.
know what? They say our nurses' bladder are really big because we contain a lot and we don't go, use the bathroom, buy a break. Absolutely. So that
So, so I have a question for
we
you.
shelter a lot in
Okay.
place.
Yeah, we do. No
Yes.
kidding. You were describing a situation before and you kept saying, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. As a leader, it's not about what I want. It's about what this staff member wants. It's about what the employee wants. It's about aligning the values, the vision, and the
Absolutely.
culture so that
Yes.
people feel whole when they're at work. They feel as if they belong, right?
I also think there's another
Absolutely.
layer to that too.
Absolutely.
I
That is
think there is a fear that if somebody says, I need 2 minutes to just stop the world, can the world just give me a moment to breathe? That there's nothing built into any of our healthcare that allows somebody to do that, right? So it does go back to culture, but it's just how are you going to be able to give people the a fearless environment so that okay, I just need a think closet. So I'm going to go into the think place for like 5 minutes. Don't talk to me. I'll leave my phone out here. But there is, and this has come up on multiple of our interviews, is that there's no time for people to even think or just meditate, just to get away. There's no time to break that cycle.
You mentioned something earlier that if there's no table, bring your if there's no chair, bring your own chair. If there's no table, start a table. It's the same thing. If there's none, uh, you could be the change you want to see in your organization. You could start the change,
Hmm.
be the spearhead that
Be the change
initiative and
you want to
propose
see.
it. Lead the change you want to be. And there's none,
Hmm.
but you see value in that, and it's a healthy person, a healthy team equals a healthy page, right? A healthy patient outcome, correct?
Hmm.
You may not be the only person who needs that. Probably are not the only person who needs that. That 5 minutes to look out the window, 5 minutes to have an uninterrupted
Hmm.
bathroom break.
Right.
So the other thing too, back now we speak culture, but do we have a culture of inclusivity? Do we have where everyone has a voice? What does that
Mm-hmm.
look like? Do we have all these
Mm-hmm.
units-based councils where you put that change, you put that initiative on the staff. You as a staff, you bring your voice to the table, and as a united front, we bring it to the leadership team. This is what we want. This is what we want to at least attempt. How see if it's going to work, start pilot it, start it, and roll it out, and and take it from there. But yeah,
Right.
absolutely, I think it really goes back to really, if it's not there, if no one has thought about it, but from a leadership standpoint, but you have thought about it, you see some value in it, gather your
Mm-hmm.
peers together, let's start this, start it off, and you never know how far it can go. It can start small and it can go as big as you never know.
It can balloon.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
So it goes back to what we've, found throughout, especially during pandemic times, right? Very challenging of how do we deal with this. So it's if it doesn't exist, you have the capability to create it. You just have to just refuse to say it's not going to work. And we hear that a lot in healthcare, right? Oh, that's not going to work. We don't do it like that.
You
Oh,
know it's not going to work when you haven't tried it,
well, no one's really got a
right?
solution. So what there is a solution to everything, but it really is kind of that deeper thinking so that people can really learn how to create what they don't have and what they need. I
Right.
love it.
I think you're right.
So one last question. So is there anything that you would have done differently throughout your career?
You're mute. I didn't hear you. Was that me?
That was you. So one last question for you. Can you hear me
You
now?
I can hear your question. I can hear you.
Yeah. So what would you do differently during your career?
Oh, ah, I would say seek out a mentor. Earlier on in your
Mm,
Ah,
career, I would say that.
yes.
And again, it goes back. Don't wait till I go back to nursing school to get my master's or doctorate, or have that CNO when I'm ready for CNO to seek a mentor. You can seek a
Yeah.
mentor even as a new grad.
Hmm.
Seek out the mentor from the start and let them, who has walked that walk, and talk that talk, and be that, let that person be an inspiration to you. That would be my
Mm,
really what I would do differently. I never had the notion of a mentor. The only mentor that was in my career life, so to speak, was when I was in college, right? Mentors, because they were assigned to you as a student, that you get your registration form signed up before you can enroll in a class or course.
mhm.
And that was it until years down the line, post masters, that started practicing, advancing career, and then I kind of started thinking about mentor, but really start thinking about find a mentor right off as a new grad.
Yep.
That for
I think it's
you.
even more important now, Florence, because
Mhm.
a lot of the nurses during COVID did not get to practice clinical practice.
No,
So
no,
you're
they did
bringing
not.
people
A
to
lot
the
of them not.
bedside who have not touched a patient.
Yes, a lot
They
of
need a mentor.
simulation.
Yeah.
Absolutely, a lot of simulation, and it really, if nothing else, follow their career path, follow their body of work. What have they done?
Right.
And you can draw a lot of inspiration from there. And you know,
Mhm.
and then you can think that when you're drawing inspiration from what they have done and their body of work, they can inspire you to start that career ladder earlier than you thought that you're prepared for. You
Exactly.
just don't know until you start. But yeah, don't wait till 5, 10 years into practice, or I've gotten my master's or doctorate, or I'm ready for the next career move to find a mentor. You can find a mentor as early on
Exactly.
as a new grad, and take it from there. That's
And
what
then
I
you
would do.
can pay it forward and mentor someone else.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Valuable
Circle.
experience for both of you. I have one last question. I noticed that you've been really active in professional organizations, that
Yes,
you've
ma'am.
been a reviewer for the Magnet Abstracts and others. How important is it to, to align with that health and healthcare, to be a part of the process, to put yourself out there, to be involved in professional organizations for growth?
Another thing that it's really important, because it goes back to be the change you want to see, right? But
Mhm.
also, build there's building yourself up professionally, professionally develop yourself. And what is out there? Just always something new to learn. There's always, and like Florence Nightingale says that there's, we must be you never stop learning. You must be learning all our lives. There's something new to learn, and you just don't know until you put yourself out there. There's so much out there to get yourself involved in, to really, enhance and boost yourself professionally. So when you're communicating, you're dialoguing, you're speaking with people, and communicating
Oh
and
my goodness.
dialoguing with professionals. You hear that? I'm sorry. It's
I
from me.
think
There's an
Okay.
alarm.
Is it
it's a
you?
fire
Okay.
alarm.
It's a fire alarm.
Okay. Well, you're putting yourself out there. Okay.
It's out. I didn't know if you hear that. Yeah, it's a fire alarm.
Well,
Okay.
I certainly want to kind of circle back as we close the session because I know the fire alarm's going to take over. But find your inspiration.
I promise it wasn't planned.
Sure it is. There's a fire out there, folks. You better go big. That's what Florence says. Go big. Be inspired for what's next and find those resources because they're out there and never take no for an answer. So
Oh, I
I think
agree.
that's what
Yep.
I heard from you today, Florence. So I
Yep.
want to thank you so much for being a part of our great
Thanks for
series.
being with us.
Great.
We appreciate it.
Thank you so
Start
We'll
much.
see. We'll
Pleasure.
see you with our
Absolutely.
next session. And if you're interested in joining us and being a part of the network and being a part of these broadcasts, please do send us a note.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Florence, for being with us today. We wish you the happiest of holiday seasons. Good
You
luck
too.
with your
You
family,
too.
with your work, and put out that fire.
Absolutely. Thank you. I really got to run.
There.
There's a fire.
You are great. I'm